What's up, everybody? It's Sunday. We're back with another edition of the NFL All Day pregame show. We're giving away a premium pack. We've got AJ joining momentarily. John, what is going on? How are we feeling this week?
When you go to a college football game one night and then your Packers play the next morning at 6:30 a.m. local time, it can't be much better, baby.
Ah,
We've been up, we've been firing. I'm ready to roll.
I thought you were going to go the other way. I thought you were going to say, like, I'm dead inside right now.
No, dude, no. I mean, I am, but like
Yeah.
the fact that the Packers have been on this morning and I've been watching them while I've been making lineups is really helping me get through it.
That's great. All right. I know I mentioned we're going to give away a premium pack. I'll start the bidding now. The way that we're going to be
Mhm.
doing this, all same as always, right? You just got to like the stream, subscribe to Team Hold. If you'll notice you can't even chat right now if you haven't subscribed. So you're going to subscribe to Team Hold, put hashtag premium into the chat. We'll get that going now. The other thing I'll say too is if you look at our show notes, because we're going to be using Momentum Labs quite a bit today. So if you look at our show notes, you can find a link to Momentumlabs.app, and then you can also find some links to some other shit. So like the stream, subscribe, hashtag premium. We'll do this towards the end. Shout out NFL All Day for being down to give these away each week. It's been very, very kind and generous of them. But let's dive in. This is what we're gonna do? We're going to we'll build the DraftKings lineup and kind of talk through the slate a little bit. But while we do that, we'll also
Uh-oh.
whoa, look at that
Sorry.
Matrix,
Sorry.
baby,
Whoa,
dude.
whoa, where
Fuck
are we at? All
Inception.
right, boom.
Not only are we gonna build the DraftKings lineup, but as we do this, we'll talk about Rumble because over at OTM Rumble, they're doubling the prize pool this week. The top 1,000 are getting paid out, which is pretty sexy. So we'll kind of go talk about both of those scenarios. And then AJ is going to come on and we'll get into it. But I don't know. How are we feeling, John? We're going to finally fucking cash this week?
I know, dude. So for those following every week, let's give a quick update of how we've done through the first 4 weeks. We've entered four lineups and
Oh,
we have not cashed a single dollar. So
it's been L, 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 L.
this week, I think we're back, baby. Where this is gonna be our week. I actually thought so. I thought last week we were doing decent, and it's funny because by about halftime of the morning games, I had pretty much like turned off my phone because I was dead like everywhere after Hawkinson and Williams and like that whole game was just blowing up, and I like had faded it completely, and so.
Yeah.
I was pretty ready to just pack it up and start doing some chores. And then I kind of remembered that we had a couple pieces in our lineup that were doing all right. And then I'm guessing like Josh Jacobs in the afternoon
Yep.
slate kind of knocked us
Yeah,
right off the min cash.
Josh Jacobs absolutely smoked us there at the end. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
that's just tough.
it's been after I had like a bad week one, a very good week two, and then it's been a bloodbath since. So I'm excited. And I think I'm getting my first Rumble cash this week. I feel good about my Rumble
Yeah.
build. So
Yeah, I mean, I was just looking. So they doubled the prize pool, but they're paying out 1,000 places. So
right.
it's we got a pretty good chance there. They kept it pretty flat there and didn't. I don't think I actually changed the top prize too much.
Mm-mm.
So
No, they
basically just
didn't. They just
added
paid out more.
yeah, just added some more people to pay out. So that's great to see.
Yeah.
Um,
So
so yeah,
let's
let's dive in.
yeah.
Where do you want to start? Where do you want to start this week, dude?
Why don't we just start quickly like talking through quarterback? Because I feel like figuring out where we're going to land for stack purposes or whatever is helpful. And I kind of think it's pretty gross today. So I don't there's nothing
Yeah.
like very exciting for me.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, so I think Brady's going to be the most popular.
Yeah.
And I think that you just kind of have to play Brady in cash,
Yes, you
which is
do.
what I'm doing because I don't know, like he doesn't exactly have the same ceiling that Allen and Hurts do, but like at $2,000 less, like I think you're just kind of banking on a pretty easy Brady game here, and like
Yeah.
we're gonna get 25 points, 28 points probably pretty safely. So I think you just save the 2,000 and play Brady. In
Yep.
tournaments, I think it's gonna be a little harder to figure out Brady because I think either you play him without a bring back, right?
Right.
You don't just try to jam in Drake London or freaking Olamide, my boy,
It's my favorite episodes of
or
Breaking Bad.
or you just really jam this game like a la the Seahawks or the Lions
Yes.
Seahawks last week, right? Where you
Ugh.
do like $4 plus London or something. Like, I mean, I don't know. It just seems like every Brady lineup's going to be Godwin plus Evans or Fournette
Right.
plus London, right? So it's like,
Right.
why would you even play that?
Yeah, God, I already know I'm just gonna lose money, right? Because here's the thing: if you play that stack, what do you have for Brady's projected ownership right now? Is it like in the 15 to 17?
20%.
So yeah, so if your
20%.
quarterback's
Yeah.
20%, that means Godwin, Evans, and Fournette are all gonna land around 20 plus, and London probably gets seemed even higher because he's the only
Yeah.
like sensible. So you have to get everything else perfect in tournaments if that's the case, right? You can't play, and you got to be playing like 2% owned guys. And like I like doing that with one or two of my spots of getting somebody off the board, but like when you have to do that with four, that's not
Yeah.
ideal.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna hope the game sucks or that they just don't, maybe Brady throws 2 touchdowns. Because like if Godwin gets 18, I mean people can get 18. Like someone can catch that. It's the nuclear games that we're trying to avoid. So
Yeah,
yeah.
and I mean, I think if you play this, so if you want to still get access to this game, because I think so. Last week when it was the Lions that were
Mhm.
popular, I felt pretty fine ditching the Lions just because, like, I don't know, they didn't have like all their players, and it was like, yeah, they're all projecting well, but it's like I don't know, they could just suck. Obviously they end up scoring 48 points or whatever, so it didn't really
Yeah.
work out. But I think that mindset was like okay, and like this week, it's kind of like I don't know. I'm almost like kind of making sure I have a buck in most of my lineups just because I don't know. I just don't see a path to like Tampa Bay failing. And we know it's going to come through like Fournette, Godwin, and Evans, right? So
Yeah.
like just getting those guys in there, I think is fine. But then getting off of Brady, I think is the key, or just doing like the onslaught, which I just don't love.
Yeah, I don't love the
So,
onslaught. I
but
just don't
but
think
in
Atlanta
that
can stay.
tier, in the Brady tier, right? Then if
Mhm.
if we're not going to Brady and we're going to go a little lower than that, it's just not really looking the greatest. So I do think Carson Wentz is slightly interesting, and that's just a gross one, and we wouldn't play it in our tournament. But
No.
I think for large field, he is interesting. Tennessee Titans have a pretty shitty pass defense, and there's no Jahan Dotson. So I'm really big on Terry McLaurin this week.
I
And by
like
really
that.
big on, I mean I'm trying to get him in as many lineups as possible, and then I just take him out because it doesn't really look that great. But I'm trying at least, right? I'm giving it the effort. Uh, and then I don't know, Trevor Lawrence. Like I was kind of thinking Trevor Lawrence was decent this week, and then I read a thing where he's only scored over 25 points like once in his career, and it was like last week or something, or
Oh
2 weeks
wow.
ago. So, like, I don't know. You don't have the great ceiling there. You're obviously not playing Mariota. Like, I don't know. Can you play Mariota London and then like
No,
$2 or something?
no.
Like, that kind of feels gross.
I mean I know you're getting there, but the
Yeah,
Teddy is
Teddy.
the now with Jalen Waddle back, I don't want to do it. Like I'm
Yeah.
scared of this game too because I feel like I could get buried by this game, but I also think this game could crap out. And I can't, but like man, with Waddle and Hill available and at 5,400, I don't know. It's possible.
Yeah. Yeah, so then you're kind of in the going to the higher tier, and like
Mhm.
obviously we've got Allen and Hurts. Their price pretty much the same this week. Um, I think those games are both a bit interesting just because Allen.
Yeah.
So the Buffalo Pittsburgh game's the only one that's projecting with like some crazy weather today. It's got a little bit of wind, which I wasn't really aware of, but I don't know. Like I think there's a path that yeah Allen crushes and they like kill the Steelers and maybe he's the score you need, but there's like also a path where he like doesn't play the whole fourth quarter and like
Right.
like I don't know, he gets to like 25 points at halftime and then he stops at like 29 and you're like all right, well that isn't really what I needed today. So I like Hurts. I think Hurts against Arizona is interesting. I don't really think a lot of people are talking too much about the Arizona side. So what's your thoughts on Kyler there?
I'm so scared of Kyler, but I'm gonna end up playing him. What I've been doing, and this isn't like a super hot take. I have been building a lot of Hurts lineups. Really with the, I really like that offense first of all, but like it's a 4:25 p.m. game, and I'm taking enough pieces of that game that if I'm way behind, I can just pivot to Kyler and rebuild it that way. I don't hate Kyler. I'm super high on Marquise Brown today, and
Yeah.
which means he's going to go 2 for 25. But I
Hmm.
think
Hmm.
I just think we're so used to what Marquise Brown was, and he kind of failed the first 2 weeks. So we're like, oh, same Marquise Brown, but nah, he's having like a huge target share, and like he's just getting a ton of work in. So I
Yeah.
really like him. I think I think too with Rondell Moore's Q tag that if he gets ruled in, I don't think he'll get a ton of ownership. And there's like no value today in the wide receiver world. And so at 4-1, if he doesn't get ruled in until late, I like him as a potential bring back too. And so if you
Yeah,
want to go the Kyler way, I mean, I'm fine going Kyler, Brown, Rondell, and then you can do it with, I mean, Sanders, AJ Brown, Goddard, whoever. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that's the game I'm gonna still try to figure out a little bit. Had started building some Brady ones, but I think I'm gonna just get off Brady
Yeah.
in tournaments today. I do like Kirk Cousins a little bit. I just highlighted him. Nobody's gonna play Kirk Cousins doubles today, like nobody.
No, I
And
think
so,
Cook is going
and
to
the
be
Bears
the
suck,
guy, right?
right? Yeah, and so like you could even do like Cousins, Cook, and Jefferson. Now it's expensive and it's
Yeah.
kind of a different build today, but I haven't really looked at how that's gonna work. But I think I might try to find a couple Kirk Cousins doubles just because the Bears suck. Nobody's going to play it. We know it's going to go through Jefferson, Cook, and Thielen, so it's
Yeah.
like might as well give it a shot and see. And I mean, like Mooney, I don't know. You can bring Mooney back, or you can not bring anybody back. I wouldn't play like Montgomery or Herbert, so it's just
No.
like even more reason why nobody's going to play that game. So if you just throw Mooney in there and then you bring, and then you do Jefferson and Thielen or something, I mean, that could be pretty fun. And then you could just do whatever you want in your lineups. The game that I wrote up in the flow chart this week was Browns Chargers.
Yeah.
Um, and like, so, obviously that game scored a bunch of points last year. And so everybody's kind of like, oh, well, yeah, of course, like it's not going to be that sneaky. But I do think it is still going to be sneaky because it's really hard to build it's hard to build lineups with Herbert. Like we both were talking about it. Like even when I was putting the flow chart together, I was like, God, these lineups just don't look that great.
Yeah.
You tried it this morning. You're like, yeah, it's all gross. And like, I mean, I don't know. I'm rolling out 8 or 10 Herbert lineups I think today, and like none of them project as well as anything else that I'm building. But it's like, I don't know, dude. I just think like this is a pretty good game environment. I just want to have pieces of it, and I just want
Yeah.
to hope that the projections are low.
I wish Chubb was like 600 cheaper. I think because
Yeah,
I forget who pointed out, maybe it was Dink on Overset Joe on Friday, but that, the path for Herbert succeeding is them like being down, right? And if they're down, it's
yeah,
probably not because Brissett was lighting it up. It's because, they're going to ground and pound and run the ball. So I really want to
yeah,
do it
yeah,
with Chubb, but if you start off because Mike Williams is just like he's another one who's like 600 too expensive. Like 7-1 for
yeah,
Mike Williams is a tough pill to swallow. But the way that I built it was Herbert, Mike Williams, Gerald Everett with Chubb, and then just like penny pinch the rest of the way down.
yeah.
And I don't feel good about it, but I don't feel good about any of my lineups today.
I
So
know.
I will say I think like to start building a little bit. I've kind of narrowed my quarterbacks to Jalen Hurts, Justin Herbert, and then like I'm on the fence with potentially messing around with Teddy Bridgewater. The one game we
Yeah.
should mention, I saw someone ask a question about Geno. That game's going to be either Geno might not be super popular, but it seems like Andy Dalton's going to be kind of popular, and everyone's going to be playing that game. And I'm just not,
Yeah.
I'm not putting
Well,
any
and you
sort of
got
like,
Lockett, Olave, Kamara are all
yeah,
going to be popular. Penny's going to be a little bit popular.
yeah,
And like, I don't know, like the New Orleans defense is pretty good. So I don't view this like last week against Detroit, you're like, yeah, let's load up on Geno. I could
sure.
understand people making lineups there, but now I think you're kind of just chasing it. But I mean, I don't know. Who knows with freaking Geno, man? Maybe he's just a good quarterback all of a sudden.
Yeah, maybe Geno's the GOAT now.
You
All
want to
right. So
start with Jalen Hurts here?
yeah, let's start with Jalen Hurts. That's the one that's got me the most excited, I think. And Devonta Smith, I know is not grading out as a great play, and it like makes way more sense to just do AJ Brown, Goddard, and then move on. But
Yeah.
man, he's coming in at like 5%.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's pretty sharp. So I'm gonna put Marquise Brown in there just because
Yeah,
I don't love Rondell Moore if he's gonna get a little bit of steam.
right.
Um, just because he's Rondell Moore, he like never scores points, but everybody loves him.
Yeah, he's yet to be
Um,
successful.
so let's put Devontae Smith in here. I like that. This helps us talk about this little tier here of like the really popular guys that are
Hmm.
right in this high five range, and
Yeah,
Devontae Smith's right above it. So we got London, Chris Godwin, Chris Olave, Tyler Lockett, who are all in that 5,600, 5,900 range and are all going to be really popular. Like I think a lot of cash builds are going to have two or three of these guys.
yeah, I think so
Um,
too.
and then Curtis Samuel's kind of sneaking around right in the middle there, and I think
I,
nobody's gonna play Curtis Samuel. Like
he's
everybody's
a
just
little
gonna
hurt
go.
too, right?
Yeah, I think so. So that's interesting.
Can we can we do one more thing before I'll turn the reins over to you? Let's just throw a defense in just so we know what salary we're working with.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think,
Well,
and
I
I'm
was gonna
gonna
look. Do you want to do a single or do you want to do a double with Hertz?
I'm a double god. The Ravens Dolphins game of week 3 or 2, whatever week that was.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's start with your defense. What do you want for defense?
All right, so I think everyone.
I
I
feel
think
like
the
you had a hot
Cowboys are
take
going to be.
coming.
Well, yeah. Well, the Cowboys are going to be like 30%, I think, and I
Yeah,
think the
yeah,
Cowboys are a great play, but like I'm not doing that. We the people right here. Seahawks D.
yeah, yeah. I like it. I've been firing up a lot of Seahawks. Saints, I mean Andy Dalton, like yeah, sure, let's play against Andy Dalton. Let's look at what these quarterbacks at the bottom are. Facing Kyler, facing Brady, facing Cousins, so maybe Bears are right. Facing Allen, facing Trevor Lawrence with the Texans, so maybe they're fine. And then yeah, Andy Dalton, it's like, okay, sure. And Matt Stafford facing Teddy Bridgewater. Jets and Seahawks, I think, are both fine. If you're kind of bridging the gap there and not going Cowboys. Okay.
John, you keep building for a second. I'm gonna jump out for 1 second.
All right, sounds good. So I think I know Mike was thinking AJ Brown, but I want to toss in Dallas Goddard here to start the double off. And so what that gives us here is 5,300 which per player, which isn't a ton. And so we're gonna have to figure out the running back range first here. So we paid up a little bit for Marquise Brown. We stayed out of that mid range of the popular guys. So we can go popular here at running back. I've been fitting Damian Harris in like most of my lineups today, mostly because I think he's going to be come in a little bit less than Ramondre. Um, just because Ramondre is a little bit more the popular name, he's going to catch a little bit more passes. People are going to go there. But I think Damian Harris has the ability to score the touchdowns today
Yeah,
against the Lions,
I,
which we
I would
know
agree. I
just suck.
agree. I agree with you. I think everything that I've listened to in the last like 12 hours has steamed up to Damian Harris. So I'm really curious what those ownerships look like. But I don't think
I
it's going to get
know.
to a point. I don't think it's going to get to a point where it freaks me out. So I like that. I like the Damian Harris quite a bit.
Well, and the crazy thing for me on this is like they have basically the same base projection, and then I don't know why Harris has such a higher ceiling on ETRs. He has a 24 ceiling and Ramondre has 21.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm guessing there's some math behind that, but yeah, I don't know. That's why I've been putting more Harris in because I'm just going based on straight off the numbers. And
Yeah.
like I don't know, I feel like Ramondre had the hype all summer. Like Ramondre catches passes. Like I feel like people are gonna go Ramondre for $100 cheaper, but I could be wrong. So now we got 5,300, and basically we need to figure out like, do we keep staying in this mid range here at receiver, which is like kind of fitting in like this kind of gross group,
Yeah.
or do we pop in a cheap guy down
Yes.
here,
Yes.
like a Zay Jones
Yes.
is popping out. Like, I
That's who I
mean,
like in that range.
yeah, Zay Jones. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's going to be relatively popular. He's projecting as like totally the best ceiling out of like anybody down here. Besides Rondell, who we just talked through. So yeah, let's throw in Zay Jones here just to kind of see what it looks like. Again, we have Devontae Smith and Marquise Brown, who I think are both going to be relatively low owned. So I don't think
Hmm.
we care too much that Zay Jones is going to be a popular chalky guy. Um, so then we got 5,900. Go ahead. Were you gonna say something?
What I don't know if we can make it work. I wanted to see how expensive our best friend Debo is.
Yeah, we could look at Debo. So I like Debo and Kittle today. And
Yeah.
again, this is like the same. We can't make that one work.
Yeah. What about I mean Ayuk, I think is at a more digestible price point too.
Yeah, he's right below the guys in that group as well. So we're
mm,
basically bracketing this group of popular guys, which is fine. I mean, I don't care at all. Ayuk's good leverage off of Jeff Wilson, just because everybody's gonna play Jeff Wilson. I think Jeff Wilson has really bad chalk today. I wouldn't play him in GPPs.
yeah.
I have no problem playing Godwin. I have no problem playing Chris Olave. I'm a little bit iffy on Lockett, but I'm sure he's fine in GPPs. Drake London, a little bit iffy on, but I I think Jeff Wilson is just a bad GPP play. So then that leaves us with 6,400, which is like this Damian Pierce, James
Oop, that's
Robinson range.
Pierce's in-game correlation right there.
That's right. I do like that. And then can we do anything better than Ayuk here? Let's see. Then that would give us 5,600. So then we could drop out Chalky Lockett in there, just to see what this looks like ownership wise.
104.
So I have this lighting up green. It's in like the sweet spot for my spreadsheet of like, 100 to 115 isn't anything to be too worried about.
Yeah.
And like you said, we're looking through like the cumulative ownership or whatever the hell it's called, product ownership. And so having a couple 5% guys is great. So I think that one is a pretty decent lineup here. So talking
Yeah,
through the
I like
chalk
this.
here, we've got Harris, Lockett. That's kind of it from a chalk standpoint.
Right, and we will have information on Harris, on Pierce, on Zay Jones, right? From the 1 o'clock
Mhm.
games. Is that it? So if
And so the twos are late games. So basically, all these guys
Oh,
are
Lockett too,
yeah,
and
yeah,
Seahawks D. So there we'll have some like good information, right? So
yeah.
if Harris fails or if Pierce fails, something like that, we can very and I don't know maybe if it's worth doing this before we move over to Rumble
Let's do it.
instead of just building the second lineup. What if we let's say Damian Pierce hits, but Damian Harris doesn't,
Mhm.
and we think we're behind. We can now switch from Hertz to Kyler and just show what like a four
Mm.
like what a late swap looks like. Jeremy's saying, is Kamara out? Did that just come out? I feel like that would be surprising, right?
Yeah, there's no way he's out, is he?
No, let
I
me
thought
see.
he was like one of the better projecting guys today. I'm
I
not
bet
seeing
that.
any.
Did you get duped by the Sunday morning thing? Saints Michael Thomas already ruled out for today's game against Seahawks is likely to be able to return next week. No, all right. I don't think that's true. Were you goofing with us?
Yeah,
JK? What a terrible joke, Jeremy.
my McKenzie is out.
Yep.
Okay, so we could go Kyler, and then we've got 700 left. So what does that get us
Well, you know what we
to?
could do instead too? Does that get us from Goddard to Kittle?
Mm, that does, yeah. Yeah, then we have 200 left. So okay, one other thing. Let's try this at a different angle. Keeping Hertz in there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can't tell. So yeah, I guess it would just be Hertz would be our popular guy. So
Yeah.
the thing that I'm trying to figure out here is um Cooper Cup is not going to be 18% owned. Like there's
Yeah,
just
he's
no
too
way that's going to happen.
expensive. 9,600. No way.
Like I don't know. I know this is all like algorithms and shit, but I don't. There's like no chance. This is like Jonathan Taylor a couple like last week actually. Yeah, I played Taylor last week and just got buried by him, but he was
That's fun.
projecting like 15 to 18% and he came back at like 8%. So I think if we play, so what if we play Ky? So okay, I see what you're saying. Get off of Hurts for Kyler. Keep in. We'd have to keep in. Uh, does that get us anywhere close? Well, then we go down to like Rondale Moore, and then we get into Cooper Cup right here. So that's not too bad.
Oh wow.
I don't really know what that does for us.
No, yeah. Yeah, because I agree. I don't there's
It,
no way Cooper Cup's gonna be 18%.
it gets
Um
us off of Hertz, and then yeah, I mean I don't fucking know.
I really like that first lineup though. I think
Yeah.
first Jalen Hurts one I really like. Mike was saying how many popular players do you guys use weekly? And Mike, I think it really depends on a lot of different things, like what kind of tournament you're playing and like what kind of like I don't think there's anything wrong with playing popular plays, but it's just like I think specifically with today's Atlanta Tampa Bay game, it's not like it's just one guy ends up being popular. It's like four guys are popular. And I think that is a little bit tricky.
Yeah. I mean, I think my response to that is like there's multiple layers that you have to kind of think through it. So like when there's popular plays, you kind of got to go through like good and bad popular plays, right? So like
Hmm.
what's like in your head, like going through, like we just talked through, Jeff Wilson is like probably a bad play. We just talked through Chris Godwin is like a good play in my opinion. And so like I'm not specifically like taking a Chris Godwin out of my lineup just because he's popular. I'm saying like, okay, I'm gonna play Godwin. That's fine. Like if he's in there, but I just got to think about other stuff that's going on. And then I think the other big thing too is the field size. So like
Yeah.
Mike and I in the red zone here are playing, and I think it's like a 2,000 person field.
Hmm.
Um, so it's a relatively small field to where you can get away with some popular guys, and then you just need to, get a little bit different here or there with the way you built your lineup or a couple players. Whereas in like the big tournament, you really like last week, right? So last week when Hawkinson and Jamal Williams go off, and then even like Penny who got steamed late, right?
Right.
So all of a sudden Jamal, like all three of those guys are very popular and they go off. And to win the freaking Millie Maker, or to win whatever, you needed like the pure nuts on everything, right? So I mean, the guy who won it had like a full onslaught of that game, which ended up being what the nuts were. But like I don't know,
Yeah.
you just squeeze yourself so much into having a more perfect lineup. The bigger the field you have, and the more chalk you play. So it's almost like I go in with a mindset of like last week when I jump on, because I play pretty big. I play in the pretty big contests, all the 20 max contests, and so
Hmm.
like I just didn't play Jamal Williams, just like I'm not playing Jeff Wilson this week, and just hoping that like yeah, last week he kills me, but if Jeff Wilson scores 5 points today, then that's great. I'm leapfrogging every Jeff Wilson lineup. 25% of the field is going to be beneath whatever I've got. So
Right.
um,
Right. I think that makes sense. I think it makes sense. All right. Hey, I'm going to remind the people here. You're going to like the stream, subscribe to Team Hold, and put hashtag premium for a shot at a premium NFL all day pack that we're going to be giving away in, I don't know, 20 minutes or so. AJ is going to be joining us in like 15 or so. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. But I figure I'm going to go through my Rumble build right here. We can talk through
yeah,
this. Again, I don't know. Maybe somebody in the chat can tell me how many entrants we're up to. I'm curious if we're going to see a little bit of a boost now, knowing that it's not the top 300 get paid, but it's the top 1,000 with 1,500 up top. And I think so I know Lazard caught a touchdown this morning, but we haven't, not a lot, enough has happened today, right, to plug anybody in. Like I think our only play is the Colts defense from the two games so far.
yeah, correct. Yeah, we've got nothing really here. I mean, Darius Slayton's got a big 12 points.
Hell yeah.
And then the running backs aren't doing anything. Rogers has got 15s, but he's probably not going to get there. So I mean, let's see. How much time do we got left in this game? We still got the fourth quarter to go. So it is worth watching, but it doesn't seem like anybody's trending there. I think it's important to talk through Justin Jefferson last week, right, Mike? So like
Yeah.
he was like having a good game when we were on here. We are like, oh yeah, whatever. And then as the game ended, he got that last touchdown, and it
Hmm.
brought him up to like 32 points or something. And then he didn't really move. Like not that many more people played him, I don't think. Like I think he was probably going to be around 20% owned,
Yeah.
and
He's
he ended up at like
22%.
22%. So it's just an important thing to think about, especially on a week like this week with they're being paid out to 1,000, like jamming in the Colts defense. Like the Colts defense probably should be like, I don't know, 60% owned or 70% owned or something. Like,
Yeah.
and it's not going to be. It'll be like 30% or something. So
Well, and
I
Big
think
Ticket
just
talks
taking
about that.
advantage of it.
Big Ticket talks about this every week too, and I mean, he's almost changing my opinion on the Thursday night game because, like Tyreek Hill and T Higgins, he was like, just jam them in, and it was like 23 and 25 points or something like that, right? And I was like, we've talked about this before, where I think like 25 points is the decision for me, like where I have to now decide, like, can I get anyone to eclipse 25? 30, I'm locking it in. So when Jefferson got over 30, I'm like, oh, he should be like 60% owned. And
Yeah.
he wasn't.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely worth paying attention. Let me take you through my thought process for like the build that I'm coming up with. And one of the issues I was running into is I was building, I think my best lineup didn't have a hero. And so now the situation I'm running, because the hero, like how much of a difference is that going to make? But I think I'm onto something now that I might do. But I'm targeting, I'm a true believer that Jamar Chase at some point is going to break out. So I'm starting with that. I think the matchup against
Yeah.
the Ravens is pretty good. And I don't know, maybe people feel burned by Jamar and they won't go down that route. But That's where I am. And then I'm just going Lamar and Andrews. Like that's how I'm starting my lineup right there. First reaction, how are we feeling?
I like it. I like it a lot, and I agree that Jamar Chase is going to continue kind of being lower and lower owned. So might as
Hmm.
well just keep playing him. He's just kind of like the squeaky wheel thing, where you just kind of keep playing him, and one of these weeks he's going to hit.
Yeah,
And the longer he goes without hitting, the better of a play he is. Frankly, I mean, I'm doing I'm doing a similar thing where I'm going Mahomes and Kelsey, and then bringing back Adams.
I like
So
that.
pretty similar with the power kind of bring back there. I heard a little bit of a rumor that the Chiefs are pissed about what the Raiders did last year to them at their home, so they're just gonna freaking lay onto them. So
I
I'm
like
ready for it,
that.
and I have a Adams hero, so that's kind of why I
That
lean
yeah,
that way.
that makes it.
But I
That,
think like dude, tight end like I don't know, man. Is is it even possible to play like a non Andrews or Kelsey lineup in this contest? Like
no,
it's
the
just
only
tight end
way
is
it's
so bad.
the only way it's ever going to happen is like what we saw. Was it 2 weeks ago, or when Njoku caught like
Yeah.
24 passes that game? Yeah. So real quick too, I'm seeing Kamara is active and Amon-Ra St. Brown is active today. So there you go.
Okay.
Um, so running back, I was having a tough time. I originally had Barkley plugged in, and I took him out
hmm
because of what's happening. I also liked Kamara, but now I'm wondering, do you like where do you think Kamara's ownership is going to land in this Rumble type contest?
I don't think that much. I think let's see what I have on my projections here. I think I had him in the 12% range or so this week.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I mean he's getting steamed up in
Like
in
DFS.
DFS, but I don't think that carries over to Rumble at all. So I have him at 10%. Yeah.
Yeah. And Arian's is asking what is this? This is a OTM Rumble. So if you go over to the Own the Moment site, go ahead and look at that, and we can and we'll build together. It's a free contest to enter too. Yeah, Coop, that segment was awesome. By the way, I saw that. I only saw it on Twitter, but that was pretty dope. So for running back
Xavier Howard's out. That's kind of big.
for Miami,
Yeah.
it's
I
a
mean,
Elijah
that
Moore
just means
season.
yeah, it just means the Jets maybe would catch a couple passes.
Yeah. So I think I'm going to plug in Christian McCaffrey as long as because I still think that, like the way they used him last week was promising. Um, and then I don't know. I've been kind of going back between Eckler,
Even against the
Chubb.
Niners?
Yeah,
Hmm. Okay.
I just think he's going to get peppered. That's all. I feel like.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, and I don't. Where do you stand? 'Cause I'm like really struggling here with like Eckler, Chubb. I mean, I guess I could
Um,
plug in Ramondre Stevenson, Kamara.
yeah, I
So
mean, I think like you can't really play Saquon with this game.
no,
Like, I don't hate Eckler. I actually really like Chubb, so I'd lean Chubb,
yeah. Let's
for
fuck it. Let's
sure.
put Chubb in there.
Just because, dude, my buddy's like the biggest Chargers fan ever, and like halfway through last week's game, he like knows I play a lot of DraftKings. He's like, dude, just play Nick Chubb next week, man. Like the Chargers can't stop anybody running.
Just
So I'm like,
every
all right,
single week, plug them. All right. So, and then this is where this was the decision making point for me. I think for my flex, right? So I put in Cooper Cup because I still think Cooper Cup's awesome. I feel like Justin Jefferson makes a ton of sense. Diggs makes a ton of sense. But now I'm at the point where I'm not using a hero, but this was the hero I was thinking about using, and it's way down. I'm scrolling too far, but Chris Godwin,
I
I
mean,
just,
I think it's perfectly fine. I don't
yeah,
think many people are going to play Godwin. Let's see what I have Godwin at. Um, I have Godwin at 5%. So Hero is
yeah.
going to be like, less than 1%.
And I know like I'm probably sacrificing a little bit of ceiling with Diggs and Jefferson. Uh, but I mean they only have three wide receivers, So
Yeah,
and they're supposed to score a lot of points, and I don't think he's gonna get owned. So that's gonna be the squad.
I like it.
That's
I
gonna
like
be
it.
the squad right there.
Let's see what I went with. See if I need to make any changes here. I'll do a quick share screen and see what I had. How do I do this contest? Okay, so I got Mahomes, Chubb, Eckler, Cup, Hill. I went Hill there against the Jets, and then Kelsey, Adams, Indy. So I don't know. We'll see. I think that one's pretty fine. I may think about slipping McCaffrey in there. This is a pretty chalky lineup, I think. I don't know. Running back's gonna be a little bit weird this week. I think for sure because um, just clicking through on what my projections were at running back. Because we have no Jonathan Taylor this week, um, then I then I added in, I bumped up Saquon a lot and I bumped up McCaffrey a lot, and now we're probably not going to have Saquon. It'll be interesting to see what Saquon comes in at if he's like 10 points or whatever, because I don't think people fully know you could change your stuff after these games. And I think you're on mute. And
I forgot I
yeah,
muted myself. Sorry.
that's all right.
I was gonna say we saw this last week where Weisberg got up at I think 4 in the morning West Coast time to make the adjustments before the London game locked, and I forget who it was who replied. It was like, "Dude, you can lock. You don't have to do it yet." Yeah, I like those takes. There's a question too in the chat. Suleiman said, "Do you have to own the players that we're using?" Yes, you do have to own the players, which is what kind of makes it pretty cool. We have a few minutes left before AJ is going to join. One other thing that I thought we could poke around in is the playbook over on NFL All Day
Yeah.
to just because we've got a couple of like stuff that we need to decide beforehand, like the pickums
Mhm.
and that crap. What was your overall take so far on this week's playbook? Because it did look a little bit different.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I thought having so basically they added a pack. They took away some moments from the 5-star pack. They added another second star 2-star pack. And they let it they let it so you can get a pack without spending any money, right? So if you get some picks right and you do some stuff, then you can get to that first pack, which doesn't require burning or anything, which I think
Hmm.
is good. That's good for new user acquisition, get a person a moment just for picking some games and coming to the site all the time. And so I thought that was a positive. Having the games, 5 game pick 'em is really crazy because that that almost determines like what you have to, or it does determine what you have to do for the rest of the week on challenges, right? Whether you can
Right.
do 3, 4, 5, whatever. And then the other curveball was the Sunday slate is looking like it's going to be pretty hard.
Yes. Or I would say
Because
not only hard, but like hard to project as well.
oh
Which,
yeah, totally,
yeah.
totally hard to project, and also very um, like there's going to be some huge swings like during the games, right? So
Hmm.
like I wouldn't really feel too safe there, which I think is good for the Sun. Like the fact that it's 25 yards, like make us work for it, right? Make
Agreed.
us have to get those yards. So I think that's good. And then, but yeah, I mean, it's basically you need a defender who gets a sack, right? A rare of a defender who gets a sack, which
Hmm.
there's not actually that many of them. I think there's like 15 or 20 of them, who have gotten sacks already this year and stuff. And then you need the 50-yard plays, right? Which,
Right.
Brady throws a bomb, like all of a sudden you need a Brady, like
Right.
so, and it's like it wasn't a 50-yard touchdown, right? It's just any play,
Any play
right?
50 yards. Yeah, 50 yards in
Yeah.
it. So if you throw it, catch it, rush it. So if it's a throw, you need both the quarterback and the receiver. But yeah, I'm with you, man. I like that. I like that it's going to be a little bit harder. And because that one's a little bit harder, we saw more shots at other things like these 5 yards for picks.
Hmm.
Also, that was really, I like that they do. Yeah. There's also going to be one that's worth, what was it, 10 yards. That is where you have to own the moment. And it's
Hmm.
funny. I think people are, you look at that and you're like, oh, that's like 20 free yards. And we've had multiple weeks now where like that the Bills game got a little hairy, but they ended up winning it. But there was what was the game? No, the Bills lost to the Dolphins. I think that was one of them. But even Thursday
Yeah.
night, we had
Yeah.
yeah,
Broncos lost.
yeah,
They
and
were
everyone
the
was like, oh
heavy
yeah,
favorite.
Broncos, easy W. Um, and then it went
They
the
did
other
they
way.
did throw a couple of cake ones in there, which I think is good.
Yeah.
What is it? It's
So we got Raiders, Chiefs, Bengals, Ravens. We had Colts, Broncos, and then
Eagles
Cardinals, Eagles.
Cardinals.
Oh yeah, and Vikings, Bears, Vikings, Bears.
Yeah, so I guess those aren't the biggest. Those aren't super easy. I think Vikings is pretty easy and Eagles is pretty easy. And
Hmm.
then like I just don't think the Raiders are that good, so I'm gonna pick the Chiefs. But then Bengals Ravens I guess is a little bit more of a toss up.
Yeah, I think so too. Um, but yeah, I'm really digging it. I think I think they did a good job of, I don't know, they're continuing to tweak it. And this seems to be pretty user friendly if you are relatively new, which I think is
Hmm.
important, you know?
And then we got the burning challenge too, the CD Lamb burn.
Oh
That
my
was
God.
great.
Yeah. That was great. Did you end up doing it? Cause I know, yeah, I know you were thinking about it. For those that don't know what we're talking about, there's a crafting challenge going on right now for a rare CD catch that was like a one-handed grab, right? And
Yeah.
in order to do it, you need one common CD moment, the rare CD moment, and then a rare moment with a team designation of the Cowboys. Did you end up going after it?
I well, I did. I haven't burned it yet. I still have the pieces. I bought the CD for like 215 or something. It's back down to 200.
Yeah.
I was waiting to see a little bit what happens with the challenge numbers, and it's already trending. I think this morning it was like 360. So if it keeps going higher and gets in like the 400 range, mid 400 range, I think I'll probably sell out of it. I was grabbing it just in the odd chance that maybe it only got to like 200 something or whatever. But it seems like the numbers are going to get up there. But I mean, the other cool thing about the burning challenges, right, that we all kind of don't really remember yet because we're not used to it is like these moments shouldn't really go down in price after, right? I mean,
Right.
um, definitely the rare, definitely the CD rare shouldn't really go down too much. So I don't know. I mean, it's and then we've got the aspect of um, people mainly going for the gamification stuff. So like I was confused when we were talking the other day because I was like, oh well, if this CD's only out of like 399, like hey maybe that'll be pretty expensive. But then you're like, oh well, I'm still gonna have a $200 CD that's now gonna be the cheapest. Like, isn't that better? And I'm like, oh shit, like, yeah, I guess so. Like, I don't know, the challenge aspect it is, right? So
Right. Yeah. That's, I was having a tough time figuring out what to do with it. I couldn't, I was like, or but if yes, it's running up right now, but does that mean it's going to run back down because we're burning, we're up to have burning 300 of an 1199 moment, right?
true.
So it's like I was like, I just don't see it going back down, but I also didn't really see it mooning too much either. Like it felt appropriately priced.
Yeah.
Um, which again, I mean, I don't know. I think it's cool. I think it's cool that they're doing it, and it's a yeah, continuing to like tweak stuff as we go, which I think is important.
Well,
Um,
and I think like another aspect, like this will kind of get start get people thinking, right? Because the CD Lamb was a really good catch from that was in prime time, I think, right? Monday night or
mhm,
something. And so a
yeah,
lot of people saw it. A lot of people probably thought hey, we're gonna get this, as a moment soon. And so doing that as a challenge, I think is cool. Helps kind of people start thinking about this week, like, oh, if we see a sweet play, like, hey, maybe that'll be a challenge coming up and
yeah,
stuff like that. And start thinking there. I think another thing that I think could be interesting if they introduce is like, okay, with the all day they just fill in the sets as they go, right? So every week
right,
or whenever they mint moments, they add into the sets. But it would be cool to like, okay, hey, we've got up to like nine of this rare moment, like nine of this rare set. The next one's going to be a challenge, right? So you got to own all nine of them. And
hmm
then you get the next moment and make it like maybe a little bit of a better player. That could really kind of spark the rare floor a little bit and kind of get people thinking that way instead of just towards the gamification stuff. Like, hey, if you love if you love a set that's just I don't know, you're into a certain set and you like collecting those moments, then being able to keep those and know that you're probably going to be eligible for a challenge or two or something, I think is a good way to do it. So I
definitely,
think
definitely.
I mean I think it's important to remember like we're only in week 5, right? There's a lot of they've done a really good job of changing up the playbook every week and kind of keep people on their toes.
Hmm
I get it. People are maybe like, getting bored of it or whatever, but like, I don't know. It's the NFT world, right? We're over 2 weeks, so everything's going to be boring after this. And
Right.
then, and then again, like, I don't know. It's like, there's just like there's plenty of ways for them to go. And I like that they're slowly getting there and they're not really committing to anything. And they're just kind of saying like, hey, we're just going to keep doing this and, whatever.
Yeah, and I saw Mike put a comment in about the second pack drop too that's coming this week, and I definitely can understand being like, oh man, like we're doing another one, but I, 2 weeks ago, they said it was going to be another one was going to be coming in 2 weeks. And it doesn't seem like that they're hammering us with a bunch of new commons every time where it's like, okay, let's make sure we get these new rookies on the platform, a couple more rares and legendaries. So I totally understand. I think everybody's got PTSD just from supply in general. So every time there's a new pack drop that comes out, there's more hesitation than anything else. But I do think and I don't know if you've siphoned through the moments at all, but how you feel about some of the moments coming out.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're pretty good. They did a good job. I haven't gone through the full list, but from what I can tell, there's not like a bunch of doubled up commons or anything like that. They plugged a lot of holes. They got a lot of rookies out there, which I think is good. We also know they put out that survey, right? So
Mhm.
maybe they're gonna change the cadence a little bit based on the survey results there. So yeah, I think it's fine, and I would expect that we have to get the rookies out here anyways. I mean, this is a good
Yeah,
rookie class, right? This is
the
a lot
rookies
of
have
good
been so
receivers, a lot
fun.
of good running backs.
Yeah, the rookies have been so fun. All right, cool. I'm excited. This is a brand new segment we're gonna do today because normally we're announcing challenges, but because the NFL is an international game now, where we go. Although I will say there's been 33 points. This is like sort of moderately high scoring games over in London in a row, which I don't think has ever happened in the same year.
Yeah.
So we're excited to have AJ come on, and we're just gonna,
Yes,
ask some questions to AJ. We'll have an AAJA.
I
Ask
like it.
AJ anything.
Hello. Also, sorry if you hear my baby in the background. He's getting ready for the Bears game, and he's just very excited for it. So,
Oh,
Well,
all right.
I will. We can appreciate that. We like that. I'll also say, like, one of the first questions we got that was like a non all day related question was, and I'm forgetting who it was from now. I did a bad job writing that down, but they said, "Are you buying Justin Fields as a long term quarterback solution?"
oh wow.
You're
It's
Um,
coming hot.
like, please get me with all day questions instead.
you know what? I want to wait out the year before I really make that call.
Mhm.
Where he's young, he's been tousled around here, right? Like
Yeah,
last year, he didn't really get to own the team. He was in that weird limbo state with Andy Dalton for a bit. He's got
yeah.
a new coach that he's working under. Got to break bad habits from the old coach, all that kind of stuff. So I want to give him through the rest of the year before I make like a true judgment call there.
Yes.
And I'm just really hoping for the best.
I think there we go. Go close your eyes, cross your fingers.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, when
Exactly.
you think about it, right? He's thrown to like Darnell Mooney and who else? Like I
Right.
don't know.
Yeah.
He needs some weapons, right?
Yeah. He doesn't. I mean, what his like best touchdown pass was to Dante Pettis. I mean, come on. So yeah, we'll have to see what happens. Yeah, that's another part of it too. And he's got a terrible offensive line. So he's not really set up for success.
Yeah.
Um, so we'll see. I think he's been progressing week over week though, nicely, which is kind of saying a lot because they're not good. But I think we're seeing small bits of progression.
That's what you need. That's what you
Yeah.
need. It's just that gives you hope. That
Yeah.
gives you hope. Um, I first just want to say, like, how has the response been for the crafting challenge that came out this week? It felt like there was a lot of excitement around that, and that must have been fun for you guys to see that released.
Yeah, it was super fun. I think we saw some really good excitement. I saw like some people are saying like, oh, I don't know if this is for me, which is totally fine. That's the
Yeah,
thing about everything that we do is like not everything is for everybody, but I think for the most part, people thought it was pretty cool, pretty exciting. I think it's fun,
yeah,
and I think too one of the things that's really fun is it forces you to make kind of like a tough decision, and I kind of
Yeah.
think that's the fun part of all
yes,
day is like do I go for it? Do I not go for it? Like, and those
Yeah.
kind of like mental decisions you have to make is kind of like the funnest part. So I think this
yeah.
is like a really good one for that.
No,
Well,
I
I think
like that.
having the having it be like, the sweet touchdown grab from CD,
Yeah,
where and it's not like, we haven't gotten I mean, this is the first moment challenge reward, right? There where it's a
yeah,
specific moment, right? I mean, I'm assuming this is setting up the runway for more of these, but I think having the ability to kind of slow trickle them out throughout the year and not just kind of, feeling like we have to do a bunch of challenges for rewards and all this stuff, it kind of makes the challenges be a little bit more stand out a little bit more, right? And like focus a little bit more on that play and like have people kind of remember that part about it. So I like the way that things look like they're trending with the challenges.
I
yeah.
think one of
Definitely
the.
want
Oh,
to do
sorry.
more.
One of the cool things too that I forgot about, and I don't know if everyone else knows this, but the way that the rewards are not the way that they're minted, but the way that they're categorized is based on how many people complete the challenge, which I thought was really, really neat. So the 1 through 10, it lands in the ultimate tier. If it gets to 99, right? It's a legendary, and then 11.99. Is that right? Is it rare or
$24.99?
Wait, I have it right here. I don't know why I'm doing this. Yes,
Oh, yeah.
$24.99. $24.99 or below is a rare, and then anything over 2,500 is a common. But I like love that that's how it's categorized and identified, and it just it's not confusing. You know what I mean? Like like, oh, okay, we're in the rare category now.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we don't have Phantom moments on all day, so this is sort of the way that we went with it, and I think it's fun. I think I don't know, like kind of gives you some excitement of like, wow, what if only 10 people finish this, or what if only 98, or like
Right.
that kind of excitement is pretty fun.
It is really cool. John, I know you had a question too that we were talking
Oh
about
yeah,
before we got on.
so I wanted to maybe talk through, like, I know you guys have put out the community survey. I know there's a lot of talk on Twitter and stuff like that about going on. And this week you guys changed up how you were presenting the challenges, right? We came out with the end of week early, came out with really all the challenges kind of ahead of time, and helping people kind of figure out the weekend, knowing the challenges beforehand. So maybe talk through a little bit about how that happened behind the scenes, and just talk through, what are some of the other forms where you're looking to hear from the community, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at it from the community on like literally everything, and I think we want to try a bunch of different stuff, right? Like that's kind of the beauty of this season, especially. It's like this is our first full season. Like let's try some things, let's experiment, let's see what works, what doesn't. And so that's definitely something that we're focusing on, is listening to the community and just trying things, and seeing what sticks. And I think we'll try stuff that like you might not even realize that you like, and then you love it, and things like that. So we're just gonna keep trying and experimenting. But I can't remember exactly why we changed this one, like when we're announcing them up, because I was off that week. But I think it had to do with like the London game and like us not necessarily wanting to wake up like that early.
Fair.
And also making sure we got the pregame picks out early, because we have like a little bit of a less engineering support on the weekends, because we try and give people days off when we can.
Right.
And so to make sure that like things went smoothly and we could handle any flags that came up when we're doing this many like all in 1 week. So I think that was like a big chunk of the reason, but we also knew people had been asking to try that way. And so we figure, why not? This is like a great reason, a great time. Let's just see how it goes.
Yeah.
I will say, normally when they come out every day, you're like, okay, cool. Like this one got announced. Let's figure it out. This one got announced. Let's figure it out. I feel like on Friday or whatever it was, when like all of them went live, everybody's like freaking out, like, oh crap, like this one's gonna be hard, or like, oh geez, I didn't even think about. I haven't even looked at the Monday night one, and people are already buying stuff for the Monday night, and like, I don't know, it was a lot of chaos in the Discord. That was for sure.
It was, I think we were doing a show when most of it when the challenges got announced, I think. And it's very hard to like read and be live at the same time while also trying to process it. I feel like such an idiot. I'm like, okay, 50 yards, and we got to stop the stream. But yeah, I personally love that it comes out early, especially the game stuff. And while you still
I'm curious to see if like it helps new users a little bit, because like rather than them having to like think about like checking in on certain days and times and stuff, like to just like log in and see it all, like I don't know, we'll see, we'll find out.
Well, and that's what I thought. And again, I promise this, we didn't bring you on just so we could say like, great job this whole time. But one of the things that I really loved about this week's playbook was it almost felt like it was tweaked a little bit for like an easier digestion for new users, where all those games are out there right away. So you could like scroll through and look at the games. There were opportunities to get stuff without having to burn stuff, which I know, like if you're new and you just bought stuff for the first time, you're like, wait, hold on, I gotta get rid of this stuff forever to then get something else. You're like, wait, I just got here. So I like that it had that vibe where, they can ease into it if they'd like.
Yeah.
That was
and
great.
That's like always the interesting balance, I think, is we're really trying to like help new users get new users. Like new user acquisition is super important. And then on top of it, like also make sure that everybody who's like a diehard collector is also having a really good experience. So we're really working on finding that balance, but it's definitely super important to cater to both 100%.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. All right, let's see. Well, there was another question that I saw in the chat that wasn't pre-planned, but I know that
Peoples. He was just saying, is there going to be any changes to the burn feature where we could filter, we could sort for players? I know people with a big collection are just scrolling for days trying to find the players they want to burn. So
Yes, there definitely is. The team is definitely in progress on that. I think it might be in QA, which means it would be kind of soon, but I'll have to check. But I know they are in progress working on it. So I think I can't remember. I think it's filterable or sortable. But 100%. Yeah, I know that's super annoying for people that have like 1,000 moments.
Yeah, and we've already seen the baby steps, because I remember the first time you could burn, you had to
You
like
had to
burn
burn
them one at a time, and then I
Oh, yeah.
wasn't sure if it burned, and now we're burning 5 at a time.
Yeah,
So
see,
we're gonna get there.
slowly but
Uh,
surely.
John has a question here too. This is a pretty good one. He said, if you can, could you talk about the change in volume of rare moments in the playbook packs? And he was curious if that was due to playback popularity and trying to balance like the supply, make playbook. If I said playback, I'm sorry, playbook sustainable.
I will have to check because man, this was a bad time for me to come and do maybe an AAA because there was a lot of decisions from when I was on vacation.
Oh no, it's
So I'll
okay.
have to go check on more details about that.
Yeah.
I will say we are like always trying to make playbook like sustainable, and we want to make rares feel rare and we want to make legendaries feel legendary. So that's definitely a top priority. I don't know what the deal was with the playbook packs, but I will check on it.
Cool. There was another question too. I think it was from Roger from a little while ago. And I know this comes up in the Discord like all of the time, but is there any talks of gifting being a thing that is introduced? And even if it's not on the forefront, even if you talk like why that probably is not something that's considered like a priority or is a little bit further down.
Yeah, I don't think it's currently like a coming soon type of priority. Like it's not like the next thing we're trying to roll out.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like totally off the table, but I don't think it's really a priority. I think when it comes to things like that are like pretty massive features and how like our whole ecosystem will work, it's something we really need to think like long and hard about, and make sure that like we're doing it the right way. We're not just like implementing it because like either people want it or they don't want it or whatever. Like we want to think really long and hard about the right way to do it before we just throw it out there. So thinking through the future of it, all the possibilities, like I think with gifting, like if it were to happen, would have to come with like a lot of different rules and regulations and things like that. And so, but right now it's definitely it's not a priority for us at this point in time.
Yeah, that's one of those things
sure
too.
to
Like
give
once
some-
you turn it on, it's hard to turn it off, or
Yeah.
or even make tweaks to it in real time. So I totally get that, and I know like there's a lot of benefits to being able to do that. I mean, even as like a content creator, to be able to give stuff away is cool.
Yeah.
And so thank you for giving us a pack this week. But yeah, I totally get the hesitation there on it. John, sorry, I felt like I cut you off. Were you going to say
No,
something?
I was just gonna give some context to like the survey that came out around. It had some stuff in there about gifting, right? And so just talking through like some of the things that all day is thinking through, right? About like, is it gonna increase challenges? Is it gonna potentially affect like gated queues if we get to that point in the future? And just things like that. So I think that's important for like everybody to think about, right? To where you could be like, oh, I have this group of like 5 buddies and we all try to complete the challenges together, so I really want gifting, but like, is there other impacts? Is there larger scale things that could end up kind of messing with the mechanics long term? So I'm glad that that's kind of getting thought through.
Yeah, that would be all this stuff. 100%. We're thinking through every single possibility, outcome, like things like that, to make sure that when we make a decision, we're making the right one. And we'd rather prolong something to make sure we make the right decision, or like prolong a decision or a determining, result before we do so.
One of the questions too that kept coming up that I wanted to bring up was, and there was a lot of different variations of this. Like I saw I didn't mark. Oh yeah, JK's was talking about the tailgating. We saw a couple of questions about just like different ways you were thinking about engaging with like the fan base. Is there? I'm sure you can't share anything specific as you're still like working through stuff, but it's something
tell us
like
about the new Jamar Chase event that's coming up.
Oh yeah, yeah. But yeah, can you talk any at all about like what the feedback was from the tailgate that you did and how like maybe anything like that in the future?
Yeah, I think if the feedback was really, really positive. I mean, I was there. It was so fun to get like all the a bunch of collectors in the same room. Like I think people love that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that like almost in itself is like kind of a little bit of utility just because it's fun to hang out with like other people who love this thing as much as you love this thing. So I think definitely we want to find and explore more ways to do that. We're gonna probably do it like a little bit carefully, where you'll also see us like try different types of things, right? We've tried all accesses, we've tried this tailgate. We're gonna keep trying and feeling out like what people like the most. We're gonna, there's a million different types of events we could do, but I think IRL is something we see as like really exciting and something we definitely want to pursue more of. So you'll definitely see more IRL events.
That's awesome. Yeah,
I think the tailgates are just such a awesome like way to bring that in, right? Because it's like, it's not just like yeah, it's not some like one of one lifetime, once in a lifetime opportunity thing, but at the same time, like, if you're already going to the game and there's going to be an all day booth there with people to hang out with, like that's great. And like, just getting some additional perks just for being, a member. You don't feel like you need to get your socks blowed off and get all this free stuff, but like just being able to go to a pregame, because everybody, like, that's the cool thing about the NFL, right? Is like there's so much like like passion and like fun around like the Sunday event, right? And like, people go hours early to the games, then they, go to the game, then they go to the bars after the games, and like just adding to that full game experience for people who are into that, I think is awesome.
Yeah, 100%. And like, I really want to work. I have like a few things I'm kind of working on because I really want to empower the community to do that themselves. Like, y'all don't need us, but how can I help you bring something like that to life? Like, I think in a dream world, it's like every like NFL city like had its own like all day bar, right?
Yes,
like go to the bar that all the all day collectors are going to be there. Like, I think that would be sick. So 100%. Yeah, I think we want to be in that game day experience.
I've been saying this, and like Top Shot's done, something similar with their captains program, right? Where they're kind of like helping the community put those things together. And I've been saying this for a while. Like, yeah, it's really cool when you go to an event that has an open bar for 3 hours and free food. That is really cool. But it will, and yes, continue to do that if you can. I also think it's still fine if you pay for your own drinks and go hang out with your friends. So like, I think like just setting up something like that, like a watch party, would still have a similar effect.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that does become a little bit more of the norm. You're like, hey, like Giants fans, if you guys are in the all day streets, like we're going to be at, I don't know, it's just Sully's or whatever the hell it would be called. Right. Like, so I hope we see more of that. All right. I think that's most of it. And I want to be conscious of time because I normally would keep you for 15 to 20, and you didn't have to make any announcements. You even got a week off last week.
I know.
Jim must have just felt amazing. Anything that you wanted to say, or like there's anything that you were, I don't know, anything. The floor is yours.
Man, I don't think so. I don't think we're just going to keep trying and experimenting. And I'm glad you guys have all been along for the ride. It really means a lot, I think, to everyone on the all day team. Like, we are grinding like super hard behind the scenes all day, every day. Sometimes I think people forget, like, this is our full-time jobs. This is our full-time job. So like all we do all day is think about all day. So we're working super hard, and I am glad that I think people have seen that work coming to life. And I appreciate everyone's patience as we continue to bring that stuff to life. So just know that, we're in this together. We're ready to make this awesome. And we appreciate all the support.
Yeah. Well, thank you. We appreciate you being down to do this when you are. And you guys have been very generous with giving stuff away, which has been really nice. So we look forward for doing it again. I'm like, selfishly, I want these London games to stop so we can go. I like being able to say we're going to announce something today, even though, like, if you're being honest, it comes out on the Discord at the same time. But I like to be able to say that. So we have one more London. Do we have London next week too? Is it 3 of them in a row?
I don't think so.
I also don't know what the Germany game is. There's a Germany game at some point.
Yeah, oh, that's right.
It's a Germany game.
That's right.
Very exciting. There you go.
I mean, yes, it's very good. It's very exciting. All right, AJ, we won't take up any more of your time. Thank you so much again for the pack to give away and for just coming on for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you all. Talk soon.
All right, see you, AJ. Go Bears. All right, this is the last call here. You're seeing some come in. You got to like the stream, subscribe. # premium. I'll also say, like, check out the show notes. Go check out Momentum Labs, Momentumlabs.app. There's a link down there, so you can go see some of those sick ass spreadsheets.
Those freaking Packers are gonna like lose this game. Unreal.
Oh my God, it's 2020. I saw Saquon
left. About to score.
Wow.
And Saquon's back now.
I saw Saquon left and came back. Is Saquon gonna find himself?
He's in the wild card, dude. He's in the end zone now. Oh, he stopped him short. Wow, that's a great tackle.
John, any like last minute news that we got? Are we still feeling pretty good about our Hurts lineup?
I did see Landry is out,
God damn.
and Montgomery is active. Waddle and Hill are active. I saw another one that mattered. Oh, we talked about McKenzie already.
Yeah. God,
Um,
Olave's going to get 72 targets.
I know. I think it's pretty. I think in cash you got to play him, and I think he's gonna be one of those like better chalk kind
I
of
know.
deals there. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I think if you play Olave and like don't play him with Lockett or something, I think that's fine. Like Olave as a one-off. Like I
Okay.
don't know. I think that could be decent.
Oh,
Um, yeah, and I just am hoping the Packers don't blow it here. It's gonna come down to like them having to beat another freaking shitty team with a last minute field goal, which
dude,
isn't
how
how you
dare you,
want.
dude? Zappy season,
Oh,
baby.
so is your boy Bailey Zappi? Is he worth a play today in DraftKings? Are we
No,
chucking the ball
no.
with Zappi?
People get too excited about that because they kept that game close. Like, he wasn't good, guys. Like, he was not good.
Yeah.
All right, let's give this thing away because we gotta finish
Yeah, we
building
gotta do some stuff.
lineups.
I
So
still
here
gotta
we
build like 8 lineups.
Yeah, and just a reminder, we do this every Sunday at 11. AJ comes on for the last 20 minutes. We give away a premium pack. We have John and I are both on the Shot Tank Show, which is on Wednesday nights. And then I just like pay attention. You already know we got a ton of content. We got a ton of NBA content, which is now the NBA is like a week and change
Hopping.
away.
We are a week away.
Here we go. We the People says he's playing Zappy. Listen, you know what? We the People, I shit on your Geno take last week. You won all the money. You're saying you're playing Zappy. I'm entering one more lineup. And John, anything else before we get out? You good to spin?
I don't think so. Let's roll it.
Let's do it. If you win this, shoot me a DM either on Twitter at Mike Zakarian or over in our Discord where you can join with a link in the show notes, and then we'll get that to you. Artemis! Oh, no. Oh, this is terrible, dude. This is terrible. God, let's spin it again. No. Congrats, Artemis. Big dubs. Big dubs for Artemis. But yeah, the rich get richer. Is Saquon gonna be a rumble lock? Did he just put it in?
Did he? Shit.
How many points does Saquon have? No.
I don't know. I think I just clicked off this game. I can't find
No,
where
it's still
it is.
2020. I can't imagine Saquon gets in. Congrats to Artemis. Big dubs for him.
He did, dude. He did. He did. He did score.
Oh yeah, my feed was behind. God.
So let's see what he got here. Frick. Let's see what we got for Saquon. 19.
Oh yeah, he's
19.6.
And that's if he gets no more points.
Yeah.
He's back in. He's back in my squad.
This could be fine.
Yeah.
I think he should have more than that, doesn't he?
I think that's good. Wow.
Especially in a weird running back week. I just hate that all the slappies are going to get bailed out here that would have kept a $9 Saquon or a 9-point Saquon.
I know. That's okay. It's one less thing we have to get right. All right, let's call it there so we can finish building. Thanks everyone for hanging around today. Good stuff. Check out Momentum Labs. Come hang out with Team Hold.